Right, I planed the legs for the door. They're 2-inch stuff. These were the offcuts. I planed all around simply because I had to get 2 flat edges. And these ones, 1.5-inch boards, I planed parallel 2 sides and 1 flat edge, so I can put it through the saw and then flip it over. And I'm going to rip it down to about 30mm. 30mm on here, come to about there. That gives me 15mm for the boards for the face. Right, all the timber doors is planed, and normally I would try and sit, if one of these had a slight bend in it, I'd try and match this one and then keep that bend the same way for the door so that it doesn't end up twisted. But these are pretty parallel to each other, and I've turned them over, they're exactly the same, so I've just marked out my tenons on here. I put a little H because this is going to be a haunch. I put a little H there, but I'm not going to cut that out. I'm going to stop the mortise there. Middle one, same again. Tuck it in 10mm, so when these tenons go into the mortises, you don't see the end of the mortise there. Little shoulder on it. Top same as bottom. It's almost reversible this door. This will be in the centre. Just got to get the braces the right way around. I don't know if you can see, there's some pencil marks on there. This is a piece of me rail. And when it's on like that, it leaves 15mm for the boards. If I offset that, be 15mm there again. So what I can do is use the mortiser, make one cut, spin this bore around and make another cut. That'll put the mortise down the middle. But sometimes my mortise machine, or the wood, because there's no locking bit for the wood, I'm just holding it by hand. The mortise can drift, which makes the hole tapered. I do have a big cutter, but it's a fraction, just a fraction too big, but it means I can make one cut with this. So I think that's what I'll use. It's a big cutter for getting through this oak, so I don't know how that'll work. That was hard going. Machine didn't want to go through this oak. Still got to clean out the bottom of the holes, but I think they're okay. Just done a little test cut on the bottom of this rail. Boarding will cover that. I'll put a little notch on here so you won't see that on the inside here. Haunch will get cut back. I have to cut the tenon into a haunch, but the joint will be alright. It's slightly sitting over. Right, this frame, the inside gap is 695, 696. So I've laid my stiles out there, and I've got them laid out at 686, 687. I'm going to give them a good 4 or 5 mil gap. It's an outside door on a bunker. It's probably going to get wet, which means the inside there is about 490. I know that my mortises, that's 70 mil. They're all about the same. You see that one's slightly over. So I'll make the tenons 65 mil. So what I want is that gap plus 65 plus 65. And I'll cut my rails to length. So that gap across there is 490. plus 65 is 130, which gives me 620 total. This blade is still cutting very square even when I score it and then run round. There's no evidence of a step in it. I've got my 65mm there. Right, so if I flip that now, that should be the same distance. So I should have 490 there now. Right, so now I've got the shoulders cut. Take that stop off, got lots of little cuts, clean that off. Nice clean cut. Right, it looks like the grain goes up on this, but it's hard to tell sometimes, so just take a little bit off. And I'm right, yeah, it's going upwards, look. So now I can be brave and take a bit more off. So it went up. Sometimes it goes down, and if you go straight in, you'll end up splitting it down here. I'm not a big one on lecturing you on health and safety, but keep your hands behind your chisel. Believe me, I know. especially when you've got a sharp one. You only cut yourself with sharp tools. Same with this one. Just make a note of which way the grain goes. Pretty straight. So now I can work out the braces. I think I'm just going to put one in. It's only a narrow door, it's not like the picture. I might even do it like that. Right, it's not glued together yet. I'm going to put just one brace on. I could put the brace down here, but that's too high for me. Plus, if there's any weakness in this, then that drops, then that drops. I don't like going into the corners because you can't start getting involved with this mortise here. So I'm going to put it about there, a little bit away from this joint. Same up there. I've cut this end square, so I'll just put the square point there. And I'll mark that one. I'll cut that off square. Just gonna put a little pencil line to remind me where I was. So cut that square. The point still at the 2 points there. What I'll do is make a pencil line there, pencil mark there. Then I'll come in here about 20mm, I'll measure that, and I'll join that mark to that mark and cut it off, so you end up with a piece that sort of shape. Same up there, put a pencil mark there, come in 20mm or so, and cut that off there. Now I'm just going to cut this, I've squared that line across, and that's my 20mm that'll come in. Just to help me, I've got a combination of bits of wood, I've got a stop here, so I'll go up to that, but then it should stop against there. I've got my laser line close, working slightly to the waist side. I'll make one little cut and adjust these accordingly, but that helps me hold it in place. Right, so they're near enough. What I'll do is draw around those and put a straight edge on, a board on. Use the flush trim bit to clean those out. Probably just round these corners off a little bit to allow for the cutter. Right, move out of here. Got a flush trim cutter, the top bearing. And here, got my pencil line, the straight edge clamp to it. Because I'm going against the grain, I'll start at this end, slowly nibble the way out of it. If I start down here, this might just splinter up the grain of the wood. And then when it gets to this bottom, I'll just have to carefully cut into that. And the router cutter, it's only long enough to go about that deep. So as soon as I've got this top bit done, I can lower the cutter and it'll run against this wood that's already cut. So just got to take the point off this brace. But it's looking close. I won't know till I round off the corners. Just going to get my sander on it, just whiz them off a little bit. That one's looking not bad. Maybe need to just take a little, take a little bit more off. See when it sits down. I think this one is a little long, so rather than trying to trim that back a little bit more, I think I'll just cut this off. It's a square cut, so I'll just take a millimetre off. Right, it's not bad. I think by the time I get a fixing in, it'll pull it in. That's quite a good fit up there. And this one's just a little twisted somewhere. Looks alright on there. Last time I put a domino in here, and I struggled a little bit to get this joint to pull up, so I'm going to go back to just putting a biscuit in, and then I'll put a fixing through there, a screw straight through there, same on this end, screw through there, biscuit on here. I just took the clamp off so it's a bit open, but basically like that. I'll get some glue on it. These tenons, when I do stopped tenons like this, whatever you call them, stop mortises, where they don't go right through, I normally put two little cuts down here, and then you put some wedges in, and when it closes up inside there, spreads these pieces and locks your tenon in place. Problem with that is you've got to get them exactly the right size, because otherwise you end up with a tenon that ends up stopping there because it's all jamming up inside, too wide, too long. Softwood, cheap softwood, and beech is a bit softer. You can clamp it up and get rid of that. You end up damaging the side sometimes if you're not careful, if you don't put a decent packer piece in. Oak, there's no movement on that. This ain't going to compress, it's not going to squash in, so I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to glue it up, put a couple of dowels in, and I'll offset the dowels so that they don't split the wood. Now I've got some stainless steel screws, they're threaded right up, but don't matter, I've made a nice big pile more. And then I've got a pilot drill, it's just big enough. Right, that's glued together. Put some stainless screws in here. They're not pretty, but they're going to get filled. I put some little packers on here, because PVA glue, I don't know whether it's the acid in it or the water content, but it makes it go black where it's touching the steel. So I put some little packers. I don't know if this stuff does the same, can't remember. This is PU glue. I'll leave it like that for now. Flip it over and put the boards on.